Happy Friday, everyone. So today is another day in the Amber vlogging thing, I guess you could say. Sorry, I had to get a drink of water. At any rate, I thought for today, since it's Friday, and usually on a Friday I don't do dang near anything except for lounge around the house and prepare for a fun-filled weekend. And so with that, I thought I would share with you what got me into vlogging, why I approach it the way I do, and maybe to give you some examples of people that kind of inspired me on this journey. And so I'll begin by saying that I haven't had cable for about, oh goodness, I don't even know a time frame anymore. It's been so long. But definitely I have not had cable in my life since probably the mid 2000s. So definitely 10 years, if not longer. And it kind of started out by watching Netflix and some of those pay-as-you-go services. From there, I went into the YouTube world and found a lot of great content. And even back then, it was still kind of new and in its infancy, so the quality of the content wasn't top-notch, but it was great content nonetheless. It kept me occupied. I could find things of interest. I could search for different things and really explore the gamut of anything that you could imagine having an interest in. But for me, it mainly started with abandon exploration. And so, excuse me. It mainly started with me with abandoned exploration. And if you're not familiar with that type of content, feel free to do a search on YouTube. There's tons of it out there, and it's only increasing as time goes on. But basically with abandoned exploration content, it's where people go into places that are abandoned or no longer functioning, and they explore. And in some cases it's homes, in some cases it's municipal buildings, other times it's factories and old industry. Either way, peeling paint and the sound of people's pitter-pattered feet going across broken glass intrigued me to no end. Call me weird, I don't know, but I loved it. And so with that, is where I found a lot of the people I still actually follow today. And so I guess we can just get into those that inspired me, because that's really how it got started. And then from there, I picked up on other people, and even as their content changed over time, I still ended up falling in love with them as content creators, as people, watching them grow, seeing other facets of things that they're interested in, and it just made me that much more fascinated to continue to watch their videos. So much so that every night when I come home from work, I actually seek out to see if these individuals have posted any new content. Without further ado, let me get into some of the people that brought me into this world of YouTube and subsequently inspired me to take up doing this myself. So the first one on the list should be no surprise to anyone on this list should be no surprise to anyone that is into YouTube, follows a lot of stuff on YouTube, or is into any of this sort of content. But the main man that really got me into it, just because he was posting so much content at that time, was Dan Bell. And Dan Bell is this filmmaker who's kind of quirky. He's from the Baltimore area, which is back where I was from. And he just was simple in his explorations, a little bit of a daredevil. I actually remember one video where he went into a home. It was a beautiful home, definitely run down by that point, which, I mean, that's the whole point of watching some of these abandoned videos. But he ended up stumbling upon someone's drug stash. And right around the time that he found that drug stash, the people ended up coming back into this home. And I just remember him running off to a bathroom. It was a dark room. He left his camera rolling. You couldn't see anything. All you could really take from that video at that point was just his breathing and his, oh my God, like his whispering to himself for security and sanity. And from then on out, I already was in love with his content, but that really kind of like drove the point home of, oh my God, it was just one of those moments of like exhilaration. It's one of those things that even as myself, as someone that likes to explore those sorts of venues, always has intrepidation, whether that's because of trespassing or vagrant or running into nefarious activities that could harm my safety. But he took that head on, and it was a thrill to watch. And from there, other things as I let myself go down the wormhole, the YouTube wormhole, as they say, and just kind of let content continue to play that's like suggested videos, is where I found the bulk of the other people. So next on my list is, they went by for a while. They've since kind of disbanded the naming, although they're all still like a really close troop, is the Exploring Crew. I'm not quite sure where they're specifically from. I used to think they were from Florida. I've kind of gotten the gist that they might be from the Northeast, but it's basically these four guys, Josh, Cody, Danny, and Steve, that banded together. I guess they found each other via this medium, YouTube and other kind of social media, found an interest and decided to kind of go on this journey together to create this content of going and exploring abandoned places as a team. And part of that process was that they would each kind of produce their own video, which was really kind of neat. It might have been, to maybe under their eyes, their downfall from why they kind of disbanded as an exploring crew. But all in all, from a viewer's perspective, I thought it was really neat to kind of see one location filmed by the eyes of four different people, because each one of us is unique and different in what we see and what we take from a location, and being able to watch four different videos, which really boosts up the content minutes that I can watch of all the same place, was really cool. Now from there, they ended up doing kind of exploring beyond just abandoned places. They started doing a lot of traveling and traveling to other countries and incorporating that abandoned still as part of it, but also just exploring in general. And I think right around that time is also when they probably bumped up on their gear. And by bumping up on their gear, I mean the quality of the cameras, the cinematics, drone footage, really investing a lot in their equipment and really taking on more of a narrative, cinematic kind of vibe to their content. I don't need that, because ultimately it comes down to the storytelling, and if the storytelling is telling. But again, like I said earlier, it's about the journey and the process, really building that relationship as a viewer with those content creators, and seeing them grow as filmmakers over time has been a really neat kind of experience. And then from that crew, and even as they've kind of disbanded into their own little niches, moved to different places such as Japan, or kind of taken on other projects to really hone into their skills or diversify their portfolio, is when I ran into the next two sets of individuals. The first one is LeBlanc and Reid. They're a couple. They both do separate things. He tends to do a bit more travel. She tends to do DIY and fashion, but she's featured a lot in his videos. The other one is Sawyer and Angelique. And again, they are also a couple that does a lot of travel, as well as Angelique kind of is very similar to Laura in that she does fashion, DIY, and things of that nature. And what I like about kind of those both sets is they're a couple, so they're doing it together, so it's a very cute experience to see kind of that love and passion between both of them. They also tend to have even that much higher of a cinematic skill set. Their camera equipment is phenomenal. They have explored more into the realms. They weren't so much abandoned, even though I might have kind of through the wormhole found them that way via some of the other people that they associate with. They tend to be a lot more travel heavy, but for someone like me that loves to travel but doesn't always get the opportunity because of work, seeing it through their eyes is really powerful. And so I've kind of grappled onto them and seen them grow as well. Another one that kind of popped into my feed randomly, not even sure how they got in my feed, but I gave them a shot kind of like I gave everyone else a shot, was this couple called Bart and Geo. They live out in California. I think that they own like a gym or something called Barbell. But I think what grabbed me onto them was just them as people. So Geo ended up, for when I kind of started watching, she was in her early stages of pregnancy. And so it was just kind of neat. And I think they were, actually, I think it was like right before they moved into their house. And they were living in an apartment in downtown LA before that. And I think I just grabbed onto them because they seemed like they were around my age. They were a couple. They were about to go through the move. They were going to have some big life things happen to them. And I just continued to watch. And so now again, they've kind of become part of that repertoire. And I want to make a special note, and I actually have these written down because I wanted to make sure I touched on all the people that really kind of stand out to me, so that I could keep my thoughts in line as well, because I do tend to ramble on these. Again, I'm new to the game, guys, so I'm still kind of learning how to be vocal and open with the camera without losing my train of thought. Anyway, back to the subject at hand. See how easy it is? Okay, so last but not least, this individual holds a very special place in my heart. He too kind of started around that abandoned exploration theme. By no means has he kind of stayed in that realm, and that's also why I absolutely love him to pieces. He sets a different tone than the rest. And if anyone's ever watched his videos, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. This man, he gets the cake for the gauntlet. He has gone 5+ years vlogging every day of his life, nonstop, through all the challenges and vulnerabilities, through all the moves, through all the amazing moments of his life, even down to some stuff that's just your boring everyday, like, hey, I'm here. And that man is Adam the Woo. So Adam the Woo, I think, used to be a punk rocker, and my boyfriend actually, once he found out the band that he was in, I think he mentioned it in a vlog, my boyfriend being like an old punk rocker, knew that band, not personally or anything, but knew of that band and was like, holy cow, I didn't even put 2 and 2 together, I didn't even realize it. But in his previous life, he played in a punk rock band. I think from his videos, he said he did retail, and he decided one day to just take his life in a different direction. And so he has been creating a daily vlog every single day for over 5 years at this point. I don't even know specifically, it might be 5 years, 2 months. At any rate, he used to do Abandon. He's been kicked out of Disney World, re-allowed back into Disney World, I believe maybe kicked out again. He loves amusement parks. He loves roadside attractions and old movie sets. And for some reason, I just love watching his content. I will say that with every person that I have listed on this sheet, and this is what's kind of unique about YouTube, every one of these, as they've maybe stumbled into that wormhole news feed of a suggested, Let me try that again. As they've come in through the YouTube wormhole of suggested videos, each one of these has annoyed me at the very beginning of that viewership, except for maybe Dan Bell. I think Dan Bell is probably the only one, and I don't know if that's the tone of his voice or what, but each one of them, seriously. Josh annoyed me to no end. LeBlanc annoyed me to no end. Sawyer, annoyed me to no end. Even Adam the Woo, I couldn't get into it. I couldn't understand, what is this guy doing? But I will tell you that as I continued to watch various content and various aspects of their life unfold, it really allowed me to take those initial thoughts about someone and relinquish them and really start to see the person as who they are, what values they hold, which is important, what their artistic abilities are, or how their mind sees the world around them, whether that is through really high dollar cinematography all the way down to a simple no edit cell phone vlog. And for each one of these people, again, it might have taken me a few videos, but they each captured my heart at different times. And it's been almost a year and a half now, and I still watch every single one of these people. And when they do a collab and they put someone on there, I can tell you, and they know this, I know they do because they talk about it in their own vlogs, but as a viewer, I too seek out those people. I think the latest one that I did that with was, I believe his name was Jax, and he owns a bus, and he took Josh and Cody on the northwest corridor of the United States. So that just goes to show how powerful these YouTube videos are and how they can expose you to new people. I absolutely love that. So with all that being said and done, now that I've kind of given my shout outs of what makes me really passionate about watching YouTube and who I am really passionate about spending my time viewing, why am I doing it? So another thing that I do on YouTube is, and you've heard me say it in some of my other vlogs, but I do meditation. And so I use YouTube to get those meditation videos. And in doing that, and this is going to sound weird, and again, I don't want to get too deep into it, but I did have a meditation session where it talks about your future self and trying to find your life purpose and what makes you tick, and honing in on that, being aware of it, investing your time in it. And by no means did my meditation say start making YouTube vlogs. But it did tap into this concept and idea of enriching and inspiring those, lifting up people, making them smile, bringing positivity into their life, bringing humor into their life. I do photography, or I've done for many, many years, photography as a hobby. And in doing that, part of the meditation talked about documenting hope for the future, to show them what it used to be like, as well as the positivity that you can continue to release into the future. And so I kind of grabbed the bull by the horns and said, you know what? If these guys are inspiring me so much and make me feel so good on a daily basis just by watching them go to an amusement park, or watching them drive around in their vehicle, or go to a local festival in a small town, or go to some beautiful island in Bali, I figured, why not give it a shot? I got a new cell phone that can hold a lot more data. I've got local editing software to do this, and really not have any expectations. You know, it doesn't have to be this beautiful cinematography that others are doing. It can just be simple. and just to put it out there into the world, no holds bar. If people hate it, they hate it. If they love it, they love it. And really just to do something that occupies my time and is fun to do. So that's kind of why I got into vlogging. It all started, honestly, just because I didn't have cable and I was really inspired by a lot of YouTubers. So, all in all, that's really all I wanted to share. Nothing fancy. Don't really know what else to say in regards to it, but I just wanted to kind of put that out there, give some shout outs to those that I really enjoy watching, and to just continue to try and keep doing this as much as I can, whether it ends up being just a daily rant or it's an exploration of where I'm living or someplace I'm visiting. Really just no expectations, just to kind of be myself, give myself a hobby and kind of, maybe inspire others.